Go, John.
Good evening, everyone. Calling to order the Monday, November 25th, 2024 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting at 5:31. Do a roll call.
Commissioners, when I call your name, please indicate that you are present. Commissioner Admeyer,
Present.
Commissioner Ballister is excused. Vice Chair Colodinado,
Present.
Commissioner Davis is excused. Commissioner Diaz,
Present.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Present.
Commissioner Fine,
Present.
Commissioner Simmons,
Present.
Chair Malia,
Present.
Commissioner Nagaya,
Present. Commissioner
Roddy.
Present.
All members present with the exception of Commissioner Ballister and Davis.
The agenda was posted on Wednesday, November 20th by 5:30 p.m. in accordance with whatever that is. Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes from October? Any changes or anything? I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Walking.
Thank you. You got that?
We do a roll call vote.
Yep.
Commissioner Admeyer,
Approved.
Commissioner Ballister. Vice Chair Colodinado,
Approved.
Commissioner Diaz,
Approved.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Approved.
Commissioner Fine,
Approved.
Commissioner Finland,
Approved.
Commissioner Malia, Chair Malia,
Approved.
Commissioner Nagaya,
Approved.
Commissioner Roddy.
Approved.
Motion carries for unanimous vote.
Our favorite part of the meeting. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address the Parks and Recreation Commission on agenda items and items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Although the commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes are assigned for each speaker. Do we have anybody live? Come on up.
I'm Julie Knowles again from the Ruth Hardy Tennis Group. And if you remember, I was here at the last meeting telling you all that we weren't really very happy with everything that was going on or not going on, should we say. So I want to come back today and say thank you very much, because the meeting was Monday night and on Wednesday morning I got a really great email from John giving a summary of everything that I'd asked for. And to cut a story short, we arranged a meeting with a group of tennis players at Ruth Hardy, because I asked for a 30-minute meeting in his office just to have face-to-face and share everything. He wrote back and said, why don't I meet all the tennis players? So we met last week. They all have their voice. And we've got a plan worked out to meet regularly and to keep an update between us all. So I just wanted to come back and say, sometimes it's good news, and thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, John.
Is there anybody else in the audience that wants to speak? Anyone on Zoom?
If you are joining us via Zoom, please use the raise hand feature and we will allow you to speak in the meeting.
That concludes public comment. The director's report.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to take a look at a couple of things that happened since our last meeting and some things that are coming up. And I will give you a sneak peek by announcing that Santa Claus is coming to town. First of all, we have some new staff members, and we're excited about filling in some of the vacancies that we've had for a while. And starting with, we have 3 new lifeguards who joined us, John Perry, Christian Ramos, and Brooklyn Seaver. And they are, in case you can't tell who's who, they're in the lower left-hand corner, the ones with all the appropriate life saving gear. We additionally have a new Parks and Recreation Manager, and he's here with us tonight, Sean Hinton. And Sean comes to us with, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 27 years of experience with Los Angeles Parks and Recreation. Did a lot of good work there, and Palm Springs is now where he wants to be. He's gonna be managing the youth community center and the fields for us there. We have a new park ranger, Bob Lewis, and hopefully we'll be having 2 more come to join us in the coming weeks. And then finally, we have 2 new recreation assistants. We have Michelle McGee Valles and Joanna Messias. Michelle is at the Leisure Center and Joanna is at the Duluth Community Center. Follow up on items that have been for the city council dealing with parks and recreation recently. In the last 2 meetings, first of all, there was a Section 14 settlement vote taken, which was a big deal for Palm Springs. That's been in the works for a long time. And part of that agreement was to collaborate with the Section 14 survivors and descendants on the naming of a park in the future.
Can I ask something about that?
Yes, you
Because I saw it, of course. Are we committed to it being an existing park? Or are we saying it's gotta be a new park, or all options are on the table?
I believe all options are on the table.
And have they expressed an interest on anywhere that they would prefer it be, or no?
Not that I'm aware of, but I have not been involved in the negotiations personally. My understanding in advance was that, we were looking at parks. Existing parks that were not named after somebody else already. We do have a few of those, but then they broadened that to include potentially future parks as well.
Okay, cool.
And then on our meeting last week, on November 21st, the city council approved the first reading of an ordinance that will come back for a second reading that deals with our parks kind of peripherally, and that is the location of signage in parks. We had a clause in the municipal code that I don't think any of us really realized was there, that said you have to place your poster signs every 100 feet. You think about doing that in the middle of a baseball field or a softball field, that's a little bit cumbersome. So that language is changed and the signage will now be posted at the opening. Or excuse me, yeah, at the entrance, if there are multiple entrances there. And there aren't any Parks and Rec issues on the next meeting, which will be the only meeting in December, that's on December 12th. So we don't have anything in the immediate future for the city council consideration.
Can I bring something up?
Yes, you may, you're the chair.
So just so everybody knows, Palm Springs is trying to become a blue zone. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. But because we are the Parks and Recs Commission, both me and Vice Chair Paula Donato have been invited to participate. Along with, I think it's Sustainability, Measure J, and another commission, and that is on December 4th. So likely I'll have an update. Not at our December meetings, we're not gonna have one, for the January meeting. Just so everybody knows that we.
If commissioners are interested, we could, when we confirm the time and location, we can send out an email to all of you too. Okay, we will do that. Next up at the Duluth Dog Park, you might recognize that the David Reddy Dog Park is under reseeding seasonally, so it's been closed. We've had a whole lot of people using the Duluth dog parks, leading to a very ugly dog fight. And as one of the outcomes, we realized we need better signage, and we have been kind of soft pedaling it, understanding that new signage would come when we redo the park, but we need something quicker, so we at least have some temporary signs out there, just listing the rules of conduct for the dogs. And for the owners, and then we also are getting some directional signage so that people can find the small dog park because it's back there and get in and out. Project Evergreen, and Riley does not yet know this. I didn't tell her, I'm gonna call on her in just a minute because this is a really cool project and she knows more about it than I do. There is a trade organization that will be coming to the Palm Springs Convention Center in the second week, at the end of the second week in January. And these are caretakers for parks and for fields and for turf, nationally, and they meet in different places every year. Each place they go, they like to find a project that they can do as volunteers to improve the community that they're in. And we are the lucky recipient of their planned work. It will occur in January, and Riley will confirm the dates for you. And what I can tell you is that in looking for a location, we picked one that really could use some sprucing up, and that is the 4 baseball fields at the Danube Park. These are ones that have holes, unlevel, just really rough playing surfaces. And these people will come and volunteer in one day and level the fields, remove the turf, level the fields, put in new turf, put in all kinds of other accoutrements for the fields, all at no cost to the city. We're very excited about it. And Riley, can you tell us a little bit about exactly what date it is and how commissioners can come watch or support and other details I don't know?
Thank you. I am 95% sure it's January 13th. I will confirm that and send it to you all in an email. But on that day, it is a Monday. We invite all of you to join us in this rare opportunity to have a fully donated project to our city. A little bit of background of how the space was chosen. There were several areas in our parks that were under consideration. And Danube Park was chosen for their baseball quad, as they call it, due to the size of the project. They needed enough work for well over 100 volunteers to be able to have enough work for that space to be done. So that was what was determined, and they would like city staff, commission, anyone who would like to come, any volunteers to stop by. There'll be broadcast, all of that good stuff. But we welcome you to join us. It'll begin at 8 AM. And again, I will send you an email verifying all of those fun details.
Are we bringing them like breakfast and lunch so they come every year?
You know, that's a great idea. We might pitch that. And then just to reiterate, it's completely donated time, supplies, due to this minor work having a convention at our Palm Springs Convention Center. So it's contractors from all over the country.
And it's my birthday, bring a birthday cake.
That's why
And
you.
rest assured that we won't be asking commissioners to volunteer work as well. We get to come and spectate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool things that happened last month. Dia de los Muertos at the Duluth Community Center. If you didn't see it, if you weren't there, didn't experience, you missed a great opportunity. I loved it. It was great. I got my face painted too. That was extra cool. They had mariachis come. They had a great buffet of food available for Mexican food available for the audience. Altars were built. We had people in there who spent a week building the altars and it was just beautiful, really spectacular. The facility shined as it seldom shines. People had a great time, and they had drag queen Loteria as well. I might have even won one of the cards. So it was a great event, and we had good public turnout and participation in that. Watch for that next year on Dia de los Muertos. Okay, just a couple other things, I'll go through some of these pretty quickly. Halloween is big in Palm Springs for everybody. We had events at the James L. Jesse's, we had events downtown at Village Fest, we had events wherever you could find them. We had, I look out the window, I'm at the leisure center, I look out the window and there's a whole troop of costume, I don't know, kids, 6-year-olds marching by, trick-or-treating at the pool and trick-or-treating at the leisure center. It was a great experience. Palm Springs Pride, I don't think you can miss that either. We had a parade that was, I think, larger than ones we've ever had before. We had a new float for the staff of course, everybody wants to hear what the city did, what staff got to do. We had our biggest and best float ever with music, and we danced our way all the way along the parade route. It was a very successful event. It was very well attended. My numbers that I got from the police department was that over that weekend, we hosted about 200,000 people. And on parade day alone, I think that there were 150,000 people, not all at the parade all at once, but participating in some of the other events as well. Not to be outdone, we had a parade several days later for Veterans Day. We also had a Veterans Day drive-through lunch here at City Hall where people were given lunches. Somebody would score you off and you get to come up and order what kind of lunch you wanted. Somebody would score you off to bring that to you. Well, at the same time, our staff workers had a great time because they got to talk to the veterans and find out a little bit more about where they had served, what they had done, what they had been involved in, and so it was great all the way around. The parade had big balloons, the big balloons we've seen before Festival of Lights parade. Are now showing up at some of our other parades, including Veterans Day. And save the date, these are ones that are coming up. Okay, we're rolling through this. We got pickleball lessons, we got basketball lessons. Basketball lessons actually start today. They go for 3 days at James O. Jesse. Pickleball, we have new schedules out and available for those who need lessons. And as I mentioned, spoiler alert, Santa Claus is coming to town. We run out of events for Santa, he's too busy, he can't be at all of them. So he gets help from Mrs. Santa, who is going to be having all kinds of events. I would encourage anybody with children or grandchildren to not try to write all these down, but to simply go to our website and find out about them. We have Christmas tree decorating, we have a difficulty forwarding this. Okay, we have a Nightmare Before Christmas as a movie in the park. We have Village Fest with Santa coming to Village Fest. We have photo ops. Okay.
I've been asked to ask you all, for the holiday tree lighting, you're all invited to attend that as well. As special guests, we want to make sure that, we have great attendance for our holiday tree lighting. It's a big event every year for the city, so, we're trying to make sure we have all of our commissioners there. Thank you. I'll send you more information in an email too.
And for each one of these events, there are auxiliary events going on around it where we have crafts for the kids. They're all family friendly. We have crafts, or we have cookie decorating, or in my case, cookie eating. So yes, Santa's coming to Village Fest. Where else is Santa? Santa's showing up. He's got a pancake breakfast going on. He's got a Christmas toy and gift giveaway up at James O. Jesse, and that's when we're members of the community, just saying, will often contribute gifts, or make donations in order to make sure that the kids get all the Christmas that they deserve. And that is on December 20th, if you're interested in, passing along the recommendation or request for, people making donations, let me know and we'll get you in touch with the right people. Okay, I'm done with that.
Alright,
The end.
that's a lot.
Yes.
We're busy.
We just have one action item, right? Yes.
Hello.
We are,
You wanna do it? You want me to skip for you? Okay.
want to swap seats?
Yeah.
Okay. When we're done playing musical chairs, Christian is here with us from KDI tonight to present the final draft of the master plan. This is not, we're not gonna go back and start and go through all the steps we have previously. This will be a shorter presentation and cut right to the chase to show you what we've been working on the last couple of weeks. And this is the specific list of what is being done with a timeline as far as when we expect it to occur, when we expect what year and year 1 through 10 we expect to commence and our estimated durations for each of the activities that are in there. And this, as I said, will be a more abbreviated presentation and a more abbreviated, more succinct request for approval to go to the city council, which tentatively would happen on the 23rd of January.
And the timeline is based on the feedback that we gave at the last meeting.
It certainly is, yes.
The Parks and Recreation Task Force knows about that and they
It's,
wanted to be involved. I said, I think it's a done deal already, so you guys tell me if they can or cannot be involved. Cause those are people that are not in this room.
okay. They wanted to be involved in what? We
They
did make
wanted
the
to fill
presentation.
out one of those timeline things because they may have the year of certain community members that we do not.
Well, when we've made the presentations to them, we've tried to make it clear that their opportunity to have formal input, that those were just informational. For formal input, their opportunity is at this meeting and then at the meeting when it goes to the city council.
Okay, I'll let them know that.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, Commission. Like Lori said, my name is Christian Rodriguez-Ceja. I am with Conclude Design Initiative, also known as KDI. We are the lead on the Parks Master Plan update, and it's a big group. We're joined by our colleagues at Agency, Pros, and ETC, who've done a lot of work to get us to this point. So today I want to sort of give us a quick refresher on what you can expect on the vision chapter, where we outline the goals, themes, goals, and actions, and more specifically give you an update on how we integrated the community voice. This is something we presented to you last time, and we said you'll see this throughout this chapter. So I have a couple of examples on how we've done that. I also wanted to share a more refined version of the implementation chapter, which is what Lori was talking about. And we've met with Lori and her team twice this month to really workshop these actions, and we're feeling really confident about what we're presenting to you today. This is what we will be presenting to the City Council in January. And then finally, as requested, we've heard staff, we've heard the commission, we've prepared this implementation timeline for you all to serve as a tool both for the commission, staff, but also to the community at large. So we're really excited to present that to you. And like Laura mentioned, there'll be still opportunity for the community to come and contribute, but we feel really confident about where we are.
And if I can insert something there, the response that I gave you, Chair Morelia, was partial, was not complete, which is anybody from the public, anybody from the task force who wants to give input and does not is not able to or doesn't choose to do that at the meeting can certainly email, write, call with ideas, and we can take a look at those and see if there's a way to get them involved and get them integrated into the.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, so the vision framework hasn't changed too much since the last time we met with you. Like I said, what we've added is this community goal or community voice section. In the screen up there, it's being covered by the caption, but essentially we're continuing with the theme, which is the sort of topic within the chapter, and within each theme we have a cleared desired outcome, and to get to that outcome we've set forward some goals for you all. Within these goals we have actions, and these actions are recommendations for the parks team to take in order to achieve the goals that would ultimately get to the desired outcome within the theme. The community voice, you'll see it show up in two ways. One is a survey result or an engagement quote that is tied to one of these actions, or the other way in the purple simple diamond shape that you see up there, an implementation consideration. So we heard from the community about very specific things that they would like to see. As you know, the plan will stay broad. But within that broad action, there are very specific things that you can do. And we've tried to integrate as many of those that we heard from the community as we can in order to better inform the types of actions that should be taken. So an example of how this shows up is theme one, goal one. For the theme one is communicating the experience, and the first goal is to create broad awareness of the parks and recreation system and its offerings, with a special focus on reaching high-need park communities. You've seen all this before. What is new now in the chapter is that every action is now has a title, which is directly tied to the implementation chapter. So you won't see the large, wordy version of the action in the implementation chapter. You'll see the title now. But here to the left, this is where the community voice is happening. And so, for example, one result from the survey is that 59% of survey respondents said that they didn't participate in programs in the city because they just didn't know what was available. And so that clearly ties to action 1.1, where the recommendation is to assign a staff member to handle social media announcements for all of your programming. And we learned that that is currently not something that is happening. So this is something that can very easily be integrated into staff. And a different sort of version of that community voice is what you see there, where we're saying create a comprehensive trail system brochure that informs users on trail length, intensity, and land ownership. So this is what I was mentioning, where we're saying the action is a little broad. We're saying create promotional materials to showcase parks and trails. And in the example of the community voice, we're saying you can do that, specifically a brochure of your trails system. So another example of where this shows up is in theme 6. This theme is about expanding the impact of the park system. And in goal 6.3, what we're trying to achieve is to expand existing parks and facilities to meet recreational needs of residents. So the community voice here says, consider expanding James O. Jesse Center and adding an indoor pool to address the need for aquatic services in the north side of Palm Springs. This is a request that we heard a lot in the community engagement, and it's directly tied to action 6.3.2, where we're saying expand aquatic facilities for diverse recreation options. Similarly, in action 6.3.5, where we're saying audit and upgrade places for multicultural and special events. Some lucky resident said to us, why don't you have a designated area for food truck events? And we've added that as an option for what we mean when we're saying multicultural and special types of events. So it's not a directive, this is what must be done, but it is showcasing the types of ideas behind the action. And so I'll stop there before I go into the implementation, just see if you have any questions or any feedback up to this point. We'll move on. So those were two examples of the vision, and that's where you find all of the information, but the implementation is where we take those actions and show you how they should be played out in the next 10 years. And so in the implementation chapter, you'll see that we have identified priority goals. Now, the commission also took your feedback about which goals should be priorities. We met with staff and we integrated all of the feedback from the community. Some things really stood out and we heard lots of. So we weighed all of those sort of input moments, both from you, staff, the community at large, to come back with what we propose are the priority goals within each theme. Within the goal, in the action, we have 3 designations. One is the start now, which is low hanging fruit, sometimes at low cost or no cost or low resources for Parks Department to get going. This is what will help you build momentum, show to the community that you are committed to what's in the plan, and can start rolling out. Additionally, some of the actions were cataloging as independent actions, and these are actions that could happen within the year. We have suggestion of when they should be happening, but these will sometimes take longer and are more drawn out. And then we have these incrementally, and that's a grouping of actions where we've said there's a bundle. So, you take all of them in order to get a process going. And so we map out, this is first, this is second, this is third, and we call those the act incrementally. Okay, so here is an example, and I'll walk you through these quickly because we've seen these. But I'll still try to give as much overview as possible, particularly for those folks who are just now tuning into the process. But for theme one, communicating the experience, the priority goal is to create broad awareness of the parks and recreation system through offerings of special focus on high need park communities. So that is the priority goal. But it doesn't mean that that's the only thing we can get started. What you see there under the start now, those are all the actions, like I was saying, low hanging fruit and less resources for you to get this momentum going to meet the desired outcome of the theme. So in the start now category, you're seeing the assigned staff member, which I've mentioned before, but also creating a cultural resident advisory board for parks to uplift and decide what those cultural activities and how we audit whether the parks are appropriate for cultural celebrations. Also partnering with the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians to highlight their history and culture in parks. In the independent actions for this theme and this goal and these goals, are to celebrate the city's diverse cultural heritage and to establish a local arts in park. Local art in parks program, which is different than what the Arts Commission is currently doing. This is what we've talked about, doing maybe rotating and lifting local artists in a not so permanent way. And for the act incrementally, these bundled actions, you see there, establish a dedicated advertising budget, which will lead to creating an inclusive multilingual marketing plan that will then lead to creating promotional materials to showcase parks, the trails. And so this is how you will see this happening across all of the themes. So in the implementation chapter, you will see all of the goals, the goal and all of its actions at a glance with the categorizing, so that as a resident, as a commissioner, you can just go and say, I really want to work on connecting people in places. What should we be working on now? What are the things that will take some time? And then what are the things that are dependent on many actions in order to get to the goal? And so you see it there, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So just before I move on quickly, there are some themes that require more than one priority because they're pretty dense and we have a lot to get to. So this is an example of where this happens, where we have 2 priority goals that we think are really important for you to be able to achieve what we're suggesting in the expanding the impact. But again, we've created this list at the start now so that there's even more clarity on what you all should be working on. Okay, and lastly, the implementation timeline. So we've worked with Lori, and again, we've heard from you all about when things should be happening. So when you look at that timeline, you can read it, and here is the key. We have the start now, and they are in their own column and they're independent. We think those should be included in your work plan immediately. Then you have these independent actions that could start year 1 and might take longer, so we've mapped that out. And then you have your act incrementally, and you'll see them show up with that sort of batched together. So here is our timeline for the next 10 years. And here, this will be a really good tool, both for you all, for staff, for the community, to think about what it'll take to do all the things that we've mapped out in the plan. Here to the left, you see the start now. Those are all the actions that could really build momentum. And then we start years 1 through 10, and you can see some of those actually might take longer than the 10-year time frame of the plan. So by the time that you're working on updating your plan again in 10 years, hopefully we've gotten through all those things that we set out to do, but some of those things might still be being implemented, and those are things like large capital projects, like expanding the community centers and things like that, and so that's what this is.
I
Yes,
have a
please.
question. So the last 10-year plan is
Mhm.
ending now and the new one starts. Do you look at what was completed and what's yet to be and then move that over to and keep it in the new plan? I
Yes.
mean, I'm just wondering, what was everything accomplished in the last 10 years?
No, and so it's almost like we get,
So naive.
it's almost like we get a new start. There wasn't
But
a
is there
lot.
some things in here that were important in the first 10 years that we've transferred over?
Yeah, like expanding the park system, for example, is one
Gotcha.
of them. There were recommendations about new park sites, and we've included some of that, and we've done a deeper analysis
Got it,
actually, and we've integrated some equity metrics into it, where we've gone out and found what population or what groups of the community are more than 10 minutes walking distance from a park. And having that be highlighted as areas that should be invested first. So there's definitely some of that carryover, but we think we've done a really comprehensive look, built the equity metrics into all of the recommendations, and we're really excited for you all to get started on this new sort of work plan for the next 10 years.
Got it.
I'm happy to take questions.
Christian, part of the plan too is towards the end of each year is to discuss what we actually did accomplish, what we didn't accomplish that was supposed to be start now or whatever, and how we tackle that moving forward, correct?
Yeah, and this is where this tool, I think, will come in handy for you and your new parks director and staff moving forward, is that we'll be able to look at this. Like I said, this is why we mapped out the start now, because those could start year 1 and probably should start year 1, because they will help you build the momentum. And we've separated those from those actions that will take longer, that could start year 1, so that's the line that you see there. And how moving forward in that timeline, but yeah, ideally what we're hoping is that you'll take this and have this be your work plan for the first year, and then you can come back and say, all right, out of all the start nows, how many did we do, and what should we be prioritizing for year 2, and did we do right by us by doing what we said we would do in year 1. And this is also a good way to have the communities buy in and understand also what the goal is. But I do want to say, with the caveat that this is dependent on many different factors, and so this is aspirational, and you all, as you'll start seeing, you'll need to allocate resources and get the city council on board for moving some of these things forward. It'll be dependent on those things. So I want to set realistic expectations to the community that this is really what the ideal is. As the work continues and moves on, it'll probably need to shift.
And many of these things are separate from, we're building new pickleball courts, we're doing a dog park redesign, et cetera, those are not even on here.
Right.
These are in addition to those giant capital projects, which are already in the works.
And is there any place to see, because I started with this commission, what we didn't accomplish in the last 10 years that we wanted to? Is there like a place to see that, like from the last 10-year plan? Or does it just get incorporated and we don't even know? I'm just curious, like, were there acts now like that we didn't do, or?
There are, the existing 2014 master plan, excuse me, is available on our website. And you can take a look at that. And that would give you a sense, but it will be a little bit different.
It's not as well organized as this
So this
plan
is-
is,
right.
for example, I think you're trying to get to, right? So it's really hard to read it and kind of say,
You can't compare it.
it's not set up the same way,
Right,
which is the difference, but.
But the other thing about that, the plan from 10 years ago, is that the goals were different, the priorities were different. as a commissioner, then, we didn't talk about pickleball. It really didn't even exist. We were, the big focus was soccer parks and baseball fields and how we could get those two groups to cooperate and understand that we're trying to balance. Those were the big issues, so this is a totally different era, totally different plan, so you could read it, but.
So it just sounds like this is really, it incorporates it all and just trust the process with this one, so to speak.
Yes, they're not set up for side-by-side comparison, that would
Gotcha.
be very difficult to do. And each one is a snapshot of where the community is in time with their values and what is important to them. And 2014 was a very different time from today.
I do wanna sort of commend
You slept through
the
it.
city staff, the commission for your willingness to create a more comprehensive inclusionary process of the community. I think that is something that you should all be very proud of, that is very different. I think you could put a side by side of how many residents were involved in the process and how many events it took to collect the feedback. I think, what we set out to do. Initially, we said we're gonna go out there, we're gonna get you not only the loudest voices, but really all of the voices and those hard to reach communities within your community. And I think we've done that very successfully and this plan demonstrates that. And so as you're getting more into the weeds of the individual actions within the themes, you will see this. There are actions that are geared towards specific communities that have not been a part of the process before, so we're really excited to be able to put this forward to city council. You should be very proud of all the work you've done.
If there are no more questions, then at this time, we'd like to entertain a recommendation or a motion that the master plan, 10-year master plan be recommended to the city council for approval by this commission.
And that'll be presented at the January 23rd city council meeting? Do we
Yes.
think so anyway?
Yes.
I would like to make a recommendation that we move forward with this 10-year plan and getting it in front of the city council.
I'll
The
second.
sooner the better.
I'll second.
Is that actually a motion? Is that a motion? Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and do the vote. Commissioner Evans,
Agreed.
Vice Chair Polidoro,
Agreed.
Commissioner Diaz,
Agreed.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fine,
Approved, yes.
Commissioner Finley,
Agreed.
Chair Moralia,
Agreed.
Commissioner Nagaya,
Agreed.
Commissioner Roddy.
Agreed.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Do we think that some of us should be there at the January 23rd city council meeting? I mean, I'm assuming Christian will be there and I can't remember her name.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think it would be great. I always hesitate on recommending people go to city council meetings. As a resident of the city, it's one of the most important things to do, and expressing your voice there. It is always heard and it's for better decision making. And at the same time, the meetings can be very long.
Yeah.
So, that's the pro and con, so, by all means, please come,
You can also write in.
be prepared, yes. You can watch it online, and you can write in emails, it will be posted on the agenda in advance, so you can send in emails of support.
Thanks. We're gonna talk about our meeting schedule. Are we first gonna talk about we're not gonna have a meeting in December, or I shouldn't say that, do we wanna have a meeting in December?
With Santa Claus and cookies.
Pancakes.
I can say that this meeting has traditionally been canceled by the commission, although if there's important subject matter to discuss, we would wanna have it. This one falls very close to the 25th. I think it's actually on the 23rd.
Yeah.
It would be when it was scheduled, so we may have a little bit of a tough time getting a quorum. And at this point, staff has no knowledge of issues that we will need to have decisions from the Parks and Rec Commission made in the month of December. But if there's a desire to cancel the meeting or reschedule it, that would take a vote.
I would make a motion to suspend the Parks and Rec Commission meeting for the month of December.
Second.
Commissioner Ratner.
Agreed.
Commissioner Fuligino,
Agree.
Commissioner Diaz,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fine,
Yes.
Commissioner Finley,
Yes.
Chair Malia,
Yes.
Commissioner Nadia,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodney.
Yes.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Let him move off. Okay, ad hoc updates. I'll take dog park. I actually visited both, or I guess technically 3 dog parks today. The overseeing at City Hall looks like it's going well. I also noticed they fixed whatever was going on with the fence in that one spot. That doesn't seem to be an issue any longer. And the guys were out there doing maintenance today, so I, was like, oh. So I think we'll be pleased when it reopens on December 6th, I think. Are we doing anything for that? We have in the past like gone over on the day and like thrown out balls and crap like that, but up to you guys. The Duluth Dog Park, however, is,
I took a large dog over there and the dog, myself, everybody needed a bath. It was nasty.
Yeah,
It's so
it's bad.
dirty. It's so bad.
the ground cover needs to be, discussed and all of that, but since it's this a replacement until December 6th, essentially, we just need to focus on getting the plan in motion to fix that dog park. Thank God there's temporary signs now, at least people know there's a small dog park there. But it's in the same condition as the large dog park. I don't remember who the head of the master plan ad hoc is.
It's
Is it Rod or?
Rod.
Yes.
Rod. Well, let's say that we already covered that.
Commissioner Ferguson is also,
You're on it too?
yes.
I'm the second, I guess I'm the vice chair. of the committee.
Do you want to give an update?
There's 2 of us. Yes, it's a wonderful plan.
Believe it just like that.
Smart.
Park enhancements, I know it's Jace.
Yes, I don't have any project updates, but or any issues that I'm aware of, but it's been nice driving by Demuth every morning and seeing everybody enjoy the new playground. So, and
I am on that committee with him and, my school, we did a little activity over there at Duluth and I said, oh, it'll be great. Let's meet up near the playground equipment. And then, oh, it wasn't so great because 4:30 and 5 o'clock came and it was pitch black. We couldn't see anything or
There was
doing,
no
there was not
lights.
one light. All the ball fields are lit up like
Yeah.
a Christmas tree. Pickleball courts, you got 1,000 lights there. It was lit like the kids were standing right here and I couldn't see them. So that wasn't good. It was good that I was there to see that there are no lights around any of that stuff.
So there is a plan, I already know this, to put
It's too late
lights
for me.
in, like the kind of connecting pylons, if you will, like at the top, they actually unscrew and there's supposed to be a light that goes right in there. I don't know when that's happening though.
Yeah,
We talked about
I
that.
talked
Yeah.
about that
The
last time,
party,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you know when that's happening?
I don't believe it's close enough to actually have a date scheduled for that. One of the items in the master plan is a reflection of the fact that many community members expressed that the parks needed to be lighted in the evening hours and early morning hours. And that's a list of priorities. We need to identify where to start, because frankly, most of our parks aren't lighted.
Right.
So that will be an undertaking that we recognize the need, we heard that loudly from the community. We have not yet started even trying to determine where to start. I know that, John Brickley has done some research with the playground equipment manufacturers, and we're looking at different ways that those could be lighted up, because that's one of the, areas in which it became apparent most quickly was that as we opened our new playground equipment, that kids couldn't play there at night because it was too dark. And furthermore, once we address that, then we have to figure out how to get the kids from the public right away or wherever they're, how to light the path to get there. We're looking at solar options, but none of them are gonna happen quickly.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a start now.
That it is.
Sounds like one of those reds.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Pickleball update? Yes.
Okay, the latest, we had a very spirited ad hoc committee meeting on the 21st. I'm Ron and Meredith were present, and Lori. And the project is on course. Logistical matters have to be further discussed and decided upon, and I say logistical timeframe. We're tentatively looking at commencement for the court extension project to start in March of 2025. We have to get it ironed out as far as what the timeframe will be. Are we gonna have an expedited format for this and going forward, which means the project will be concluded tentatively by December 2025? Or will we be doing the project in increments, which then we would go into the early months of 2026. So this was discussed at the ad hoc committee meeting, and it had to be ironed out over the course of time, and of course with consultation with Alberta from engineering to see where it's going to wind up and which format will be used. But whatever format winds up being put into play, we're also gonna have to consider alternative sites, and Lori has worked very studiously on that project. And in going forward, I will be assisting her, and ad hoc committee members will be assisting as far as exploration and finding appropriate alternatives for people, because if it is done in increments, or if it's done just as one expedited project, people are going to be coming into the community, and whether it's our folks are here year round, or if people are coming into the community, tourists or visitors or seasonal people, and they're gonna be looking for a facility or a place to play pickleball. So we have to find something that's adequate and suitable for them, and that will be relatively convenient and relatively problem and stress free, if there is such an entity that exists. But we had our discussion, and we will continue as far as communications and seeing what we can put together and get nailed down as far as format and planning. So it will all come together, but that is the latest.
Did you get the sense that most people wanted, let's just close it down and get going? Or was it split 50-50 or what? Because obviously if we don't shut it down and let's get going, we don't have to look for another option. There's courts there. But if we shut it down completely, then sure. The idea would be that we can find somewhere else for them to go.
They had entertained a variety of different ideas as far as the timetable. And we didn't conclusively come to a decision for suggestion purposes when we had our meeting on the 21st. But hopefully, as time goes on, the committee will be of a consensus, and then whatever that consensus can be will be a recommendation to our superiors over at Parks and Recreation, and also to engineering. And if we can get everyone in essence to be in accord, then we'll decide that when it's appropriate.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
What a diplomat.
Swim center is,
Me,
yeah.
I don't really have any updates on the project itself. I did go by there today and visit and meet the like the new hires and everything was going very well there. And quite busy, actually. It's sporty.
Cause it was good weather today.
Yeah.
We're moving on to commissioner comments. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Go ahead.
Just since we're not having a meeting in December, just collectively for the group, very happy and healthy and safe Thanksgiving. And same going into the December holidays, for Hanukkah, for Kwanzaa, for Christmas, the New Year, for Christmas. And just everyone enjoy the holidays and be safe. And one final thought, we're not having a December meeting, but just my thanks to Lori for her help and support. And always being available whenever issues evolve, Parks and Recreation related or pertaining to the pickleball initiative. She's always been accessible and always does appropriate follow-up, so she walked into the fire in July, very quickly got on board and put out a lot of fires. So we're grateful for that. And just to say thank you to Lori.
Thank you, I enjoyed my time, and you can count on me touching base with you all in the future as a resident, checking to make sure you're making things happen on the master plan.
How long are you gonna stay after Nick starts? Do you know
I'll
yet?
be here for a couple weeks for transition,
So just through the end of the year,
yes,
basically?
yes,
Oh, okay, so you won't be at the January meeting?
no.
You're invited.
Yes.
I'm disappointed, I mean, I'm quite attached to the master plan and I'm excited about.
You're welcome to come.
seeing it.
Yeah.
Duly noted. I have to have clear boundaries because I will be returning to the planning commission. And I can't be a staff and commissioner at the same time, so.
Well, I think I can speak on everybody's behalf that we will miss you. Thank you for doing what you've done and we hope that you hold us accountable. Cause that's what we want, right? Anybody else have any comments?
Great job, Laura, for filling in. You did a good job and you did jump in when it was little different times, but that was good. It's good to see everybody. I want everybody to have a good time for the holidays, enjoy your families, hug somebody, be a good human. Welcome, Sean. Stay, don't leave, because I want to talk to you.
Okay.
But John's doing a great job and I enjoy being here with you guys and it's gonna be a good 2025.
Let's hope. Anybody else? Then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
The Parks and Recreation Commission meeting is adjourned at 6:30 PM and we will meet again in January. Thanks, everyone. Happy holidays.
Yes.
Yeah.